Seth Meyers pointed out North Korea reported its first coronavirus outbreak. That's not good. They ordered all cities and counties to enter a lockdown, or as they call it, business as usual. Jimmy Kimmel wondered, how did COVID even get into North Korea? Did Kid Rock play Pyongyang and not tell us about it? Meanwhile, President Biden gave a speech to some electrical workers. He referred to former President Trump as the great MAGA king. Seth Meyers said, okay, can we please not give him any more ideas? Biden criticized Republicans at a fundraiser for their recent attacks on Disney and said they're going to storm Cinderella's castle before this is over. Seth said, oh, buddy, I hate to tell you, if they're going to storm anything, it's the Hall of Presidents. More details on that Norm Macdonald special. It's going to come to Netflix May 30th. That's pretty soon, man. Norm's longtime producing partner, Lori Jo Hoekstra, told the Highlight Reporter Norm's test results were not good. So during the heart of the COVID-19 pandemic and literally the night before going in for a procedure, he wanted to get it on tape just in case, as he put it, things went south. It was his intention to have a special to share if something happened. He looks great and the material's fantastic. He filmed the entire hour in a single take. Norm made it through the procedure, he was fine, and the footage was just tossed in a closet, but Norm became very ill a year later before the special could be properly filmed. Hoekstra said Norm ended up getting sicker last August and September, and he remembered he had shot this and asked me to find it so he could watch it. He ended up watching it before he passed away. He even suggested the title for the special, which will be called Nothing Special. The Netflix version will include clips of Adam Sandler, Conan O'Brien, Dave Chappelle, David Letterman, David Spade, and Molly Shannon discussing Norm Macdonald. That was shot during the recent Netflix Comedy Festival. Hoekstra said, it makes me so happy I can share this, but also so sad that we can't share it with him. He didn't do this for the shock that it exists. He shot it because he loved his material and was proud of his material. He worked so hard, and it really would have bothered him to have done all that work and not been able to show everybody. He did it for the stand-up. I just hope people appreciate that he did this. A random story just popped into my brain as I read that. I remember at one point we at SiriusXM, we did a tribute to Mitch Hedberg using some jokes written by Mitch. Mitch's wife, Lynn Shawcroft, had Mitch's notebooks, and these were jokes that I don't think were ever performed. And some of the comedians, I remember Doug Stanhope was in the room, and they did some of Mitch's jokes. Pretty cool. Hope someone saved the tape. Probably lost to time. Chris Rock has been doing some shows in the UK, so we're seeing some reviews from the show. The Guardian gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Rock is still addressing the slap in the same way. He said, I'm okay if anybody was wondering. I got most of my hearing back. People expect me to talk about that BS. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'll get to it eventually on Netflix. That's interesting, right? Anyone who says words hurt has never been punched in the face. He also discussed the court case between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. He said, believe all women except Amber Heard. What the hell's going on? What the bleep is she on? She crapped in his bed. She's fine, but she's not bleeping fine. The Guardian clued us into some more of Chris Rock's material. He asks the question, who's responsible for the downfall of America? The Guardian says there's droll material on the Capitol riots. What kind of white Planet of the Apes BS is that? Some material about Joe Biden back from the dead to save the country and the inequities of woke corporate virtual signaling. The Guardian writes, one marvels at Rock's suggestion that had a global crisis not come along, Donald Trump might have governed America perfectly well, and it's hard to love the conclusion he reaches for comic effect or otherwise after surveying his country's experience of COVID-19, which is that, quote, people are pieces of S. It kicks off with a routine on bringing up rich kids as a man who identifies as poor. He can be amusingly unsentimental about his spoiled eldest daughter, but the section's closer about her expulsion from school is not strong and finds Chris Rock engaging in some virtual signaling himself. That routine and others in the second half loudly advertise Rock's streak of devilry as he plays with our expectations of his stance on abortion and tries to justify why men apparently all want to date younger women. An earlier Meghan Markle routine is equally gleefully contentious. A line that is representative of the final quarter of the show, money does for men what women think plastic surgery does for them. There are still great jokes here, including a fine one about classifying neighborhoods by who's visibly idle at any time of day. Even the weak material is elevated by Rock's expressive voice. One might wish the slap had been addressed, not glossed, and lament the old-school sexual politics, but this new tour finds Chris Rock in fine form. Whatever else it was, the slap clearly wasn't a knockout. 3 stars out of 5. Shocking news out of the Cannes Film Festival. Shocking a little strong, but I was not expecting Spinal Tap II. Were you? They're making Spinal Tap II. Rob Reiner will return to direct. He will also play filmmaker Marty DeBurgi. Also back, Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, and Christopher Guest as the Spinal Taps. Deadline talked to Rob Reiner. Rob said the plan is to do a sequel that comes out on the 40th anniversary of the original film. I could tell you hardly a day goes by without somebody saying, why don't you do another one? For so many years we said, nah. It wasn't until we came up with the right idea how to do this. You don't want to just do it. You want to honor the first one and push a little further with the story. I've actually pre-read this article for a change, but let me give you my initial thoughts first. When I heard this, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. My concern is that they will overdo it with the cameos. Like I was making up in my head. None of this is real. This is just me in my head. You know, Billy Crystal doing a character, comedian who hosted the Oscars recently. If I say her name, people get mad at me for not saying nice things. I could see her in this thing, and I'm worried it could be a little too much, right? Reiner tells us the setup for Spinal Tap II. Spoilers, I guess? They've played Albert Hall, played Wembley Stadium all over the country and in Europe. They haven't spent any time together recently, and that became the premise. The idea was that Ian Faith, who was their manager, has passed away. In reality, Tony Hendra, who played him, has passed away. Ian's widow has inherited a contract that said Spinal Tap owed them one more concert. She was basically going to sue them if they didn't. All these years and a lot of bad blood we'll get into, and they're thrown back together and forced to deal with each other and play this concert. Reiner said, hopefully there will be some guest artists. The thing I've heard from so many bands and talking about possibly doing a couple books, but one will be tap moments that real bands have had, like in the movie, they get stoned and can't find the stage. That happened to Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. When Nigel is frustrated by the little bread and the catering that won't hold the cold cuts, that was taken from a Rolling Stone article about Van Halen with the M&Ms. We had an original keyboard player, Jonathan Sinclair, who said when he was in Uriah Heep, they played a military base, so we put that in too. When I met Sting years ago, he said, I've seen that movie 50 times, and every time I watch it, I don't know whether to laugh or cry because it's so much what happens. With all that, we've had a lot of bands share their experiences, and so hopefully we'll include some of that in the film. I'm back playing Marty DeBurgi. The band was upset with the first film. They thought I did a hatchet job, and this is a chance to redeem myself. I'm such a big fan, and I felt bad that they didn't like what they saw in the first film. When I heard they might get back together, I was visiting an adjunct teacher's helper at the Ed Wood School of Cinematic Arts. I dropped everything to document this final concert. The film will be released March 19th, 2024. Now, the expectations will be different this time, Reiner explains. You have no idea what's going to happen. The first time we screened in Dallas, they didn't know what the hell it was. People came up to me and said, I don't understand why you make a movie about a band no one has heard of, and it's so bad. Why would you do it? I said, it's satire. And I would explain, but it took a while for people to catch up. Now, it's in the National Film Registry. Bad news if you are Pete Holmes. Hey, Pete, you know your CBS sitcom, How We Roll? It's been canceled, bro. Sorry. Hey, bad news if you're Kenan Thompson. Hey, Kenan, you know your sitcom Kenan on NBC? It's been canceled, man. Sorry. Don't worry, you've still got Saturday Night Live. Hey, Ted Danson, bad news, man. You know your show, Mr. Mayor? Canceled. NBC did renew some sitcoms. American Auto, Grand Crew, and Young Rock all get another season. Ricky Gervais was on Twitter. Pay attention here to my language. I'm not misspeaking. Ricky Gervais was asked what he thought of Piers Morgan interviewing the Taliban. Ricky tweeted, he's lost all respect for them. Pete Davidson spoke to GQ about fashion. Sure, why not? Pete said, my relationship with fashion is easy. I don't overthink things. Not really sure I could pick a specific way to describe my style. I think I've always been someone who prefers to chuck on clothes and go about my day. Wait till H&M hears about that. I have a specific uniform. Hats, soft t-shirts, sweats, and sneakers make up my day-to-day look. Okay, for real, you know what I'm wearing right now? A t-shirt with a soft sweat jacket over it. I have sweatpants on, and I have my brand new running sneakers. I'm planning on going for a run right after this. Oh, and I'm also wearing a hat. I am dressed like Pete Davidson. Okay. Pete says, it depends on the day, but I go for comfort first and foremost, and I'm usually a little daring on the color I'll select as well. Not me. I'm wearing blue. I'll try different looks, but convenience and fit are the most important for me when it comes to dressing. My motto is just to wear whatever makes you feel good. It's that simple. If you think you want to wear it and you feel good in it, then wear it. When somebody would describe my style as scumbro, I'd say, you just called me a scumbro. How do you think I feel? That pretty much sums up how I live my life. My relationship with fashion is easygoing and I don't overthink things. Have fun, be cool and comfortable. If you saw my closet, you might call me a sneakerhead. I dress pretty much the same as I did when I was a kid. If I see something that's comfortable, with plenty of color in it, I wear it. That hasn't changed. I think what my takeaway there from that is Pete likes to be comfortable. The Guardian wrote about people at comedy clubs being a little feisty. It was halfway through a show in Shrewsbury when Nish Kumar noticed an audience member being disruptive. became so bad he asked the man to leave. On the way out, the jerk turned to the comedian and said, "To be completely honest with you, my friend bought these tickets and I thought I had tickets to see Ramesh Ranganathan." Kumar responded by explaining to the audience why the comment could be construed as racist, and he moved on. But the next night in a different city, after posting about the incident on Instagram, at that show, someone called out, "Where's Ramesh?" Again, he explained why that wasn't funny, and another audience told him to stop being so sensitive. When he addressed her, she doubled down, and she later wrote a letter of complaint to Kumar's agent. Kumar said, "There's something in the water. I've had a few conversations with other comics, and there's a sense that something doesn't feel quite right." And that's your comedy news for today. You can follow this show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows. If you like what I do, you can buy me a coffee.com/Daily Comedy News, or become a premium subscriber for the show. $5 on Apple Podcasts. You get the episodes early and ad-free. See you tomorrow.